Here we go, everyone. It's Deep Dive Zone, a Sonic review series for fans of all shapes and sizes. And guys, today we have Amy. Don't you just love Amy's portrayal in this game?
Amy needs a therapist.
Indeed.
Yeah, I said it before. This is the most unhinged portrayal of Amy, maybe in the entire series.
This
I
is
don't know.
unhinged and not in a fun way.
I
Well,
mean, it is kind of amusing how over the top it is. It's
I
remarkable.
I guess I find it more uncomfortable than anything else.
this game does want you to care about its story, so it makes it really feel weird. So,
Yeah.
cause like Heroes didn't give a shit.
Yeah, well that game barely had a story.
Yeah. In this story, though, Amy takes Emerald for strength training and to practice being a mother, in
Oh
quotations, because we loved that gimmick so much before. But she gets caught up in her fantasies, leaving Cream to do most of the work, which, hey, she's in this game. Once Amy finally wakes up, the two end up traveling to Night Babylon to get Emerald Shards from Rouge. Where the heck do we start here? Do we start in Emerald Town because she takes Emerald from Sonic, right?
I mean, we can start with Tails accidentally telling her where Sonic is.
Oh yeah, he's like trying not to reveal it. He's like, oh, she's just gonna create problems. She's been terrible, the past few weeks.
My first observation in this story is when Amy says, Sonic, I know you're here. You can't hide from me. My cards tell me that you're here. And that was surprising to hear Amy's tarot cards referenced within a game. Is that the first time?
I think so.
Probably?
There's no iconography of that in Sonic the Fighters, right? I don't think so.
I
I don't
think
believe so.
so.
Yeah. No, Amy's tarot cards they're one of the weirdest things because like they'll reference them very scant amounts in like supplementary material, and then in the games it's just like you hear it once or twice and you're like, what?
Right, yeah.
'Cause it's like this game, and then Chronicles, and then Origins. So that's like 10
Yeah.
years between each mention.
Huh.
It's very strange, but it's there. I haven't forgotten it.
Of course.
The writers also haven't forgotten to pile on very hard foreshadowing, as Sonic is training with Emerald, and Emerald asks, Sonic, will you teach me another deadly attack technique today? I wonder why he wants to learn that.
Why does Sonic teach anybody deadly attack? He doesn't kill people.
Not
Maybe.
yet.
Exactly.
Yeah, sorry, I cannot fucking get over Amy in this story.
I mean, it's hard to.
She's apparently, in the context of this campaign specifically, like, mildly obsessed with, like, weight training, and, like,
Well,
not...
Amy very much comes off as like I later on in the campaign, Emerald mentions how many calories she'd burned during an exercise session, and Amy says, "Oh yeah, as long as I stay under that," and it was like under like 700 calories, she'll be fine. I think Amy is just like. At least this Amy. This one, I'm convinced this is not canon to anything. This
This
is
is
its
an
own
eating
continuity.
disorder.
Yes, Amy has a fucking eating disorder.
Well, and she says
She has
something...
major. She also has like major body image issues.
Well, and she says something about, like, oh, is Sonic avoiding me because I'm fat? And it's like,
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
no, the localization team did. I wanted. I'd actually be curious to look at the a just directly translated version of the Japanese script, not a localized version, to see how similar it is.
That does exist. The Japanese version of the game has an English language setting.
That's right. It does.
That's how we get that screen cap of Rouge calling Eggman a bastard.
That's right. I might have to see if I can find just the full script and compare the stories, because that sounds interesting.
My understanding is that it's not that different on this front.
Mm.
What happened
that
to
is-
her? You're a child. Please just...
Like, if it
Oh,
was...
boy.
If we didn't know that she was actually not right in the head, there's a part where, well, you alluded to it, where Sonic, like, runs away from her, and then she's like, what could it be he be telling me? I know. It's a subtle
Yeah.
clue that actually he wants me to prove myself as a capable mother and take care of Emerald.
Right.
And
God.
it's like, she actually doesn't see what's right in front of her.
It's concerning, if anything else.
Sonic games have gotten so progressive, they're finally representing people with severe mental health issues.
Problem
Jesus
is it's never
Christ.
actually addressed. Like,
Right.
legit, when it was so over the top, I'm like, maybe there's actually something going on, but there's no actual
Right.
payoff. Spoilers.
No.
Yeah, if they did a story about, a central character being in a serious mental funk, I would actually appreciate that if that were what the story were about. It's not what it's about. The story just treats it as a funny quirk.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Which, it's not like I need the stories to go like, oh, it's too
No, but
personal, it's...
like,
But it's like, if you're gonna do that at all, at least do it with some respect.
sure. I mean, you could do it just like say like Amy is, she's in another world. Or her mind is in like another world, and she isn't really comprehending what's going on around her.
I feel like they
Anywho,
didn't realize what they were doing.
Probably
Honestly.
not.
no. Anyway, this is a video game, but I have nothing to say about the combat here. I guess, playing
Amy's
as Amy...
fun. Amy's fun, but that's about all I can really say.
I do actually like playing as her. We complained
Yeah,
about fighting against her before because she sucks to fight against. But the flip side of
sure.
that is that if you're able to pull off the same
She's fun
stuff,
to
you
play
can...
as. Yeah, yeah. No, she's fun to play as, but it's like the gameplay is getting so samey that it's hard to talk about it.
Yeah, it's
No, yeah.
mindless.
Seriously. I was like, oh, it's a new character. Right. Yes. Okay. There's a
Right.
hammer twirl that's neat. That's all I have.
It's like, oh, new character, she's fun, or in another case, another universe, it could have been, oh, she's dog shit. But either way, it's just, oh, she exists, and so does this story I have to play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the first bits of gameplay are expectedly just like some basic training, I think, against fly
Right.
units on the beach or something. I can't
Yeah.
remember exactly. And after that, Emerald reveals that they have some sort of sensor that they can use to track Chaos Emeralds now, which is worrying, I must say. And then he's like, "Oh, we got to go get Chaos Emeralds." And he's like super brash about it. And then Amy's like, "Oh, come on, say please." And then they're like, "Oh, okay, please." And it's like it's so I don't know. I'm always reading into this with an air of suspicion, but it
Mhm.
comes off like Emerald is just kissing up to everyone.
Yeah, I can see that. It does kind of come off like that, but I think it's more so that Emerald just doesn't really have a well enough established character.
I'm not
Right.
sure I
You can
would
see
read...
it either way, which is interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't expect there to be like layers and different ways to interpret this
it
story,
is.
but
It is
sometimes there are.
interesting. Yeah, that is kind of interesting that you can interpret it different ways, but I don't know. It doesn't make for anything actually particularly interesting.
I don't know if I'd read Emerald as being deceptive or manipulative in any way. He's kind of just doing whatever. And, it's like,
Yeah,
it's almost like a neurological, biological compulsion to get emeralds, if I would see it as anything.
yeah. I
Well,
'Cause-
mean,
if
I,
subconscious, I think
Yeah, yeah.
it's still there.
He's willing to go through plenty of abuse to get there either way. Fucking Amy is willing to fucking punch both him and Sonic for speaking out of turn in the story.
Amy can actually be surprisingly mean isn't really the right word, but
violent, I
I think
think.
violent. I think that's actually nothing new though. That's consistent for once.
That's relatively consistent.
I mean, I was a little surprised that at the end of every battle, Amy is like, "You guys are such losers," but everyone in this game kind of talks like that sometimes.
Man, I
Yeah,
stopped paying attention to the digitized text after like Sonic's story.
yeah. So we do get to get to go to Amy's apartment in this story, where I guess Cream and Cheese are just here.
Yeah, I don't know
Do
that it's
Cream
ever
and
explained
Cheese
where they
live with
hang out.
Amy?
It
Do they?
seems like that almost.
So
Yeah, it seems like they live with her.
I
But
actually have the
like,
wiki page up here, and
okay.
it says that Cream and Cheese have been training with Amy. No, it doesn't say anything about why Cream and Cheese are here. They don't live with Amy because they live with Vanilla, but
Well, yeah, I would assume,
I don't think Cream ever mentions her mother in this game.
I
her
don't
mother.
recall
I
that.
mean, yeah.
I think she did at one point in Heroes, but like it's funny because like Vanilla is in Advance 2, and then like she is in like one other game ever, and then her only appearances are in comic books and cartoons.
I mean, is she all that important to really bring up?
I mean, no, but it's like
Exactly.
like she barely gets mentioned even when Cream does appear. It's just funny to me.
I mean, yeah, that is interesting. Cream has a canonical mother, who just never gets mentioned.
Well, and it's like she's definitely a child. You know, if when Sonic Heroes says, "Oh, she's
Yeah,
6 years old," that one I do believe.
that one I can believe. That's one of the ages I will believe. I think her and Tails are probably the only ones I really believe.
When it makes sense in Amy's story here because Cream, you know, it's a juxtaposition where the child is the one who has to act like an adult for the
Right,
Uh-huh.
extremely unhinged teenager.
right.
Yeah, I don't remember who asks Cream to fight, or if anyone asks Cream to fight.
I think Amy just says, "Cream, you're joining."
Okay, that sounds about right. But it's funny because when Amy asks Cream to fight, they get this sad expression and they're like, "Oh, I don't like fighting." But Cheese's face remains stable. They have no problems.
She
She
has no qualms with murder.
he knows what he is, or they know what they are. Chow or genderless. I don't know how to refer to them.
Use them.
Yeah, and hating fighting is a central theme of Cream in this game,
Yeah.
which we'll see a bit more in the next episode. But it's just
Hmm.
funny after Sonic Advance 2, because it's like, and Heroes, because like, what are you talking about? You've done a lot of fighting.
Well,
That's why I said this game can't be canon to anything else.
yeah, that is very strange. It really caught me by surprise when she said that. I was like, that's a character trait.
Yeah,
But
it's just a new character trait for no reason.
I think every single person in this game has some new trait that's like never been foreshadowed. I swear.
Yeah.
Odd, but she doesn't get to say no, and she gets involved in this fight, and we get to see the battle background for Amy's apartment, which is not decorated the way I would expect. Actually, again, I was surprised because Amy's face is everywhere, and there's a single picture of Sonic. Like that seems reversed.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
In fairness, I don't know how literal these battle arenas are. This would be a pretty desolate apartment to live in.
I mean, I assume it's not the whole place, but it's supposed to capture the vibe, and that's
Why does she have
strange.
so many dressers?
I mean, maybe this is just like a rec room in the apartment building.
The average person only has like 3 or 4, but she's got at least 5.
Amy has a lot of the exact same dress.
I could see that. I mean, you don't see her in a lot of different
Yeah.
dresses, so
That's a cartoon trope that I like, is when they open their closet and they've got 50 copies of the same outfit.
That is a pretty funny trope.
amazing. I have forgotten to mention music for the most part in this game so far, so I'm going to make a point to say that I really like the theme for the Amy's apartment battles. It's very, very happy, upbeat. It's perfect.
I'll take your word on it because I think I ended up playing most of this story without headphones on.
It's an upbeat track, but it's also like a little off kilter and manic, which I think
Oh,
fits
like me.
perfectly with this version of Amy. Yeah.
That's
Um,
true.
the OST for Battle, I think, is pretty great in general. Actually, if I were
I'm
to
gonna have to
complain
go
about
back and listen
anything,
to it.
it's that it has this one kind of whiny sounding guitar synth that's like, which is I don't like, but other than that, I like it. Anywho, yeah. So Cream doesn't want to fight, but Amy basically tires herself out and passes out from these fights.
Amy's turned into like a fucking dog. Like you play with the dog enough and he just passes out,
Well, it's
or
because
I guess a toddler.
yeah, when I first saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, what does Emerald become? But then I realized, no, it's actually just what is Amy doing to herself because she has no stamina anymore.
Yeah, well, they even reveal that
Yeah.
she's like wearing weighted training gear, like fucking Rock Lee. Um,
Oh my gosh,
No.
yes, that happens.
Yeah,
At the
got some
next fight, they're
Goku
just like,
shit going on.
it's like, "Nah, you haven't even seen my true power. Take off their weighted clothing. It's like, what?
well, it's like I would love this as a reveal for Amy in a story where she's been one of the heroes, and it's like,
Sure.
you
You
would
haven't
have.
even fought me in my final form.
Yeah, because you would have the impression early on that
That'd be
Amy is
cool.
strong, but not necessarily as strong as Sonic or Knuckles or whoever. And everybody else would get beaten down by the villain, and they're like, "Ha! What can a mere girl do to me?" And she's like, "I can do this," and
That would be
unleashes her
that'd be
power.
cool. Yeah, that'd be pretty fun. But
the
instead, we have this.
The mallet is just made out of like plastic. It's how hard she hits you with it that makes us the difference.
She swings and hits it so hard it just shatters.
Seems a little ineffective.
It's the shrapnel. It's fine.
Yeah, so Amy's out. Cream has to take over the reins, so to speak.
Yeah, at one part, again, I have to keep bringing up every little subtle bit. Cream is like, well, okay, if I'm gonna fight, please at least go easy on me, Emerald. And Emerald says nothing.
Oh my.
And you don't have to go
Threatening.
easy on her.
No, you can beat a child up.
I do think that there's like, because like after Amy wakes up, they're like, Emerald's like, oh, I gotta get Chaos Emeralds. We gotta go to Night Babylon. So he and Amy leave, and Cream says something afterward like, oh, Amy is so strong, and it's like, Cream, please do not take any kind of positive impression of Amy from this. It's gonna harm your development.
I might be too late.
Well, then at least we're happy to live in a series where the characters don't age. So.
Yeah.
Well, you know what time it is, everybody? That's right. Give it up for Chaos Gamma! Yeah!
Hey.
Okay.
The
yes,
weekly
he's
Chaos
back.
Gamma encounter.
He really is just monster of the week at this point.
He's
Except it's the same monster.
Well, yeah,
every time.
he's like the Starscream. He's the villain lackey who always sticks around but never really gets the center stage.
I was
I'm
a
gonna.
little surprised that they just showed up unceremoniously after how last story they had like the big reveal, and now they're just back to the same old thing again. Although, again, I am holding out hope, probably in vain, but Amy recognizes them, and they're like, "Oh, it's Gamma," and they react when they talk to them. They like stop for a second or something. It seems almost like they recognize Amy, but I don't know. I could be reading into it. There really isn't anything right now though. They just explode again, and that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Chaos Gamma.
Gamma.
He holds the record for most exploded dude in the series.
Yeah, probably.
I guess
I
once
don't.
we get to like Archie Metal Sonic, where they just blow him up by the dozen, that might take the cake. But
Oh
I mean,
wow, look forward to that.
I guess most exploited dude in primary canon.
yeah. Whatever percentage of this game is canon. Anyway, so you gotta fight some Phi units. It's the same shit as always.
The
Yeah,
writers,
this is feeling very similar to like the middle of Knuckles' story.
It's
same
not
darn place.
it's not as
Yeah.
bad, but yes.
It's certainly just as needless.
Yeah.
Because like the writers don't even come up with reasons why they're double fights now. You beat down the
Oh
Phi
my
unit,
God,
and then they're
double
just like,
fights.
ugh. And then Amy is like, "You want some more?" And I'm like, "No, I don't think it does. Just leave
Yeah,
it alone."
Amy's the one instigating the double fights now.
For real.
Yeah. Why do you? We don't have to do this, Amy. You just.
It's turning to just pure, unadulterated rage and violence.
See, I would even prefer that, but she has to go back at the end of the story because just Amy is the
Yeah.
Doomslayer is also acceptable, but
I would honestly prefer that because that would be a nice change of pace and would actually be funny.
we don't have a Blood Knight character in the series so far. Frankly, I guess we never will, since that's what Infinite was trying to be and failed hard. But that's later.
That's neither here or right now.
The final Emerald Shard is at Rouge's place, and it's Rouge.
I mean, there's something a little interesting because isn't one of these the fight where you can't use any special moves?
Oh, is that this?
Sounds about right.
It shows how memorable this game is. Most of us don't even remember that.
I remember there
mean,
was a fight
same.
where you couldn't use special moves, but I didn't remember it was here.
Yes, I mean, same. I'm cheating the fuck out of every fight here. I have not played a single fight legitimately since like halfway through Sonic's story.
You do a lot of mashing the B button either way, so.
Yeah, so at least one way I don't have to potentially redo fights.
I will say that I was surprised by Emerald's behavior for once, because Amy is there and is like, Rouge, Emerald Shard, or Emerald, I don't remember. I think it's actually a full Emerald, is it?
I think
So
it's just a
there's
shard.
there's a
Rouge's
shard
shard.
there, but Emerald tracks a full Emerald, and Rouge's like, oh, that's Shadows. He's sleeping.
That's right. I knew there was an Emerald
Yeah,
there
Shadow is
too.
beepy and you can't have that emerald.
But Amy is like, I'm gonna fight you, and Emerald is like, oh no, there's no reason to fight. But then Rouge says something mildly insulting. I don't remember. It's like, I don't know, calling her
Oh,
kid or
yeah.
something. I can't remember. And then she gets angry and fights anyway. So I'm just gonna say that Emerald knew that would happen, because Emerald can observe behaviors in detail. So it was
Right.
reverse psychology play, totally.
Even though I don't agree, your interpretation of Emerald as high-functioning sociopath is very interesting.
That is honestly, it's a lot more interesting than what we've seen out of Emerald so far.
I mean, it fits the facts.
It
Kind of.
really kind of does.
I mean, I like Emerald as a naive, dorky kid who's just entranced by the idea of beating the shit out of people and has no idea what he's doing, but sure.
Sure.
Um, Either way, you get more emeralds, and then you go to Tails' house, and he gets more power.
I feel like less happened than usual, and usually nothing happens.
They do the whole,
Yeah.
like, Emerald calls Amy mommy shtick in front of Sonic, and I cringe for
Yeah.
the man. It's like, he doesn't deserve this.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about Amy's Aminess in this game, more than what happened, though, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the main thing that stands out, I guess.
I'm noticing gradually, this might be the Sonic game that has Sonic in the title, but has the least of Sonic the character in it.
Yeah, because Sonic really only shows up a lot in his own story and maybe Tails' story.
He'll show up once or twice per story, but he never takes center stage.
Honestly,
Yeah.
that's cool. I like
don't
that,
mind that.
but
Yeah, I don't mind that.
you know, if only the game actually, justified it. I feel like, I don't know. I don't know if that's exactly true. He's certainly not the most interesting character, but he's certainly not the least interesting character. So having more Sonic would probably be an improvement.
I mean, I don't know who the least interesting character in this game is. Most of them have been different flavors of baffling.
The thing is, though, most of them have all been like very one note as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, now I think about it, Sonic did some weird things here and there. I still don't understand when he shows Emerald his true power, but he actually might be the most in character. I guess. Well, no, Tails. Arguably, Tails is in character because Tails is out of character a lot. So.
Yeah, it's hard to get Tails right. Hashtag every Sonic game since 2007, but sorry, 2006. No, 2005 maybe. Well, a lot of Sonic games have trouble with Tails. You were correct.
Yeah.
Anyway, this Amy story has the same ending as Sonic Heroes, basically, which is that Amy wants to jump on Sonic, and Sonic's like, yeah, and runs out of there.
Ew, cooties.
Amy's like, oh, he's shy, and then Emerald's like, I don't think that's what it is, and then it ends.
That was kind of funny. I'll admit that.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to make this like a dark comedy.
Oh my god!
See, that's the thing, though. It's not.
Sonic... No, it's not. But if
I would appreciate it if it was.
Yeah.
No, it's trying to be a light comedy, and not that funny. I don't know.
All right.
Well, comedies, light, dark, or otherwise, are not happening tonight because we have run out of jokes and out of material for this episode. So, with all that said, that's going to be it for tonight. I thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry that we were so negative about this one and also every other one, except maybe the first one, debatably.
I'm not sorry. It deserves
I'm not sorry at all.
I mean, I'm sorry that the viewers may be attaining a negative experience from it.
The viewers can go to hell.
Oh, joy, we're antagonizing our audience.
Again.
This is a warning.
Well, yeah, you gotta have 2 fights for each, so.
This is a promise.
Well, maybe things will look better next time? I don't know. Next time on Deep Dive Zone, we're going to be looking at Cream, who is in this game for some reason, and that is going to be it. That is going to be it for tonight. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to share, like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to view us on other platforms, because all of the current ones are crashing and burning, you can check out the link tree in the description, which I will keep updated. So we will see you next Sunday for another exciting and possibly disappointing episode. I hope you have a great night, and take care.